Welcome to Mental Check Monday. This is an opportunity for me just to have a release um, and just talk about life, put life in perspective. I wanted this opportunity to do this because obviously this is a mental health month and it's something that has been on my mind for some time, obviously because of the things I've been through and the things that we go through. And you see all the conversations on social media and on the television. And so I think it was something that really was on my heart to do. And I just wanted to illustrate it, put it on wax, put it out there for YouTube. And so every week I'll record Mental Check Monday, uh, post it online on Monday mornings, which I think it's something that we need to discuss and have further dialogue about. And so this will be the intro into beginning of the podcast where we discuss just life. And it's just an opportunity for me to have a release and others who listen to this to listen and understand and kind of go in depth uh, on some of the questions in their own lives. To me, it really doesn't matter if anyone watches or listens. It's really just the opportunity just to talk and to have a release and to put things into the atmosphere that can help us all grow, including myself. And so I want to start with the saying that I think I'll keep moving forward with, that we are enough. You are enough. You matter. I love you. I love who you are. You are love. And also, you are more than enough. And so, with that, I think I want to promote life with this podcast. I want the opportunity to grow uh, branches from this tree that we have that we're living in. So as I grow in this and I build on this, hopefully it touched someone and it motivates someone to keep going, because we're all fighting a fight that some people don't know about. And so uh, this release, this opportunity to promote life and living it more abundantly, I think it serves a purpose, and I want to be a part of this. And so I think a lot of the things that I've been through and others are going through in life is either because of lack of purpose of or the lack of feeling like we don't belong. And so that's life. That's how life treats you sometime. But I think the way you grow from that is that you have the understanding and the thoughts that you will be missed, that you have a purpose on this earth. I was listening to a quote that said, uh, don't underestimate the hole your absence will create. And so I think that's powerful because it illustrates the importance of everyone on this earth. Like, I believe we're all created to solve a problem on earth. And so I, I kind of coined the phrase that I'm a solution. And so when you look at it as if you're a solution, that what you do matters, nothing is minute, nothing is minuscule. Every part of what you do matters to someone. And I think that's the thing that you got to grab hold to, that the person that you see at the bus stop, the person that you see at work, the co-worker, your mailman, um, your principal, your teacher, your boss, supervisor, your loved one, husband, wife, children, like you matter to someone. And so, like, just looking around the world, you see these problems arise. And I think a lot of it is because people don't believe that they belong. And so the Mental Check Monday is here to let you all know that you do belong, that you do matter. Even telling into myself that I matter, that I'm enough. Well, sometimes we go through the ebbs and flows of life, and sometimes the weight can crush you. Um, but you serve a purpose. You 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 were created to help. I was listening to a podcast, motivational podcast yesterday, And one of the quotes I love: "Never fear a storm. Learn to dance in the rain." And I think that that's another thing that illustrates just like we're gonna go through ebbs and flows. We're gonna go through peaks and valleys. Um, the goal is to store up during your harvest for the famine, because no matter what, life has its ups and downs. And I've learned to never get too high and too low, and to stay even keel. And then, in order to stay even keel, I think you have to store up in your highs to prepare for the lows, because you're not going to have life without ups and downs. And so the downs teach you how to enjoy the ups. And so that's something that I try to live my life by, that no matter what, there will be ups. There's a lot of downs. Um, I try to say a lot to the people I encounter every day that life is not hard, but it is tough. It's tough. It is. Um, Sometimes it's not fair, but you're uniquely made for what you're going through. And so if you're uniquely made for what you're going through, that means you're also equipped to deal with what you're going through. So you're strong enough, you're wise enough, you have all the tools you need to succeed within you. And so that's kind of what this podcast is going to talk about. This being an intro, I just want to talk on a few things, some things in my past to kind of move this along, to kind of give you the reason, the purpose behind this, and why I want to do this, because it's been, like I said earlier, it had been on my heart for some months now, because we deal with things every day, and people I'm around deal with things every day. I deal with things every day. I'm not perfect. Um, I've been blessed in my life to be where I am right now, but that didn't come without ups and downs. That didn't come without a lot of downs, tough nights, rough nights. But I'm sitting here today because I realized that I have a purpose. I have a meaning bigger than myself. A lot of what we go through is for others. Unfortunately, it's our story. When we tell it, it motivates someone that we don't even probably know is paying attention to us, and seeing what we're going through and seeing us get through it, and then they feel like they can do the same thing. Because once you take the mask off our lives, we're all pretty much dealing with the same thing. Some might have more money than others. Some might have more family than others. We're all uniquely made, but we pretty much deal with some of the same obstacles. And some of the bigger issues that we deal with is that we don't talk about them. And so I wanted to create a safe space for me, myself, to discuss some of the things I've been through, and hopefully it helps others uh, continue to push and continue to fight. Uh, that's the number one thing, right? To fight. Because again, it goes back to the opening statement that we are enough, and that we matter. And so it puts life, as I like to say, in perspective. Everything looks a certain way, but it's happening for a certain reason. And so when you have perspective, you understand why, how, when everything is flowing. And then you also get and understand that there's going to be another side to it. That if I keep moving my feet, if I keep pressing forward, that I'll get to the other side. And so that goes back to the never fear a storm, learn to dance in the rain, because you learn to enjoy every moment that you have, the ups and the downs. And so I go back to this thought that my mom, who is my mom, my dad, my grandmother, they're my rocks. They're the foundation of my life. My mom always used to say to me, "You can't save them all," and not that she's right or wrong in that. I just I want to save the world, and I hope this podcast can help with that. I hope this can push a little bit that I can touch one person and that person touch another person and that person touches another person, so that we all understand that we're fighting for something. And if we're fighting for something, I think that keeps us pushing, that keeps us moving forward. And so I'm not here to prove her wrong at all. But my purpose is to encourage and empower everyone. And if we can do that, I think we kind of save a little bit of that hope. And hope is so important to living. If you have hope, you will continue to fight. And it's not that it isn't tough. It is. It's tough. It's what you're going through um, is unique to you, but others have been through similar situations and have come out on the other side, and some haven't, because the weight of the world sometimes is heavy. And I think we grow in groups. No man's an island. And so I think as we continue to walk with each other, we continue to uphold each other and embrace each other in these tough times, that we can make it to the other side. I think a lot has changed in this world since COVID, honestly. Um, and a lot of things have changed in this world where we don't have a lot of conversations. Social media has kind of allowed us to hide behind our cell phones and electronic devices instead of having real tough conversations about life and what we're going through. And so when you have these months that are designed to have conversations like mental health month and mental health awareness, I think it's important that if you have a platform, that you discuss it, that you talk about it, that you openly speak on things that you're dealing with, because it helps others that who may not be as strong as you are. And so I'm not sitting here saying I'm famous or I have this specific platform, but I do think I sit in a unique position that I can help others. And I don't want to remain idle, because the world is hurting, and it will continue to be that way if we do not step in and we don't do anything about it. And so this is my little piece of doing something about it. And I'll continue to illustrate that you matter, that the world will not operate properly without you. And so keep fighting. Like, that's the important thing, is that you were created for a purpose. You were created to solve a problem on this earth. And so if you're not here, the earth kind of tilts a little bit. Like, that's how important you are. You're not created for nothing happens to happen. Like, you have an intended purpose. And I think it's our job to fulfill those purposes and solve those problems. If we do that, I think we've done what we were created to do. And so as something you'll hear me say throughout this whole process of this podcast is create your own ripple and create your own unique path that the world will talk about forever, how you impacted the world. And I want this to be mine. And I'll continue to do this as long as I'm able to, as long as I have the means to do it. I just want to help. And so talking about the purpose, talking about why I'm doing this, like I said, I just want to save the world, and I'm willing to die for it. I'm willing to fight for it. I'm willing to pour everything into it until I'm empty, because I believe society needs it. And that was a quote about helping others, about pressing forward, even when you don't understand, or when you won't reap the benefits. Like what I'm doing, putting it on wax, conversations that others will probably look at years from now. It was a powerful quote I was reading. A society grows when old men plant trees in whose shade they know they shall never sit. I think that's powerful because it means you're paying it forward. You're giving hope to a generation you won't be around for. You won't get to reap the benefits of the life that you're essentially creating for the future. And I think that's really important. That's really something that the world needs. The world needs more people that are willing to pour themselves into subjects, into opportunities they won't get pats on the back for, because it will change the trajectory of the world moving forward. It'll make it a better place. And so, like, to discuss like more in depth, like my life, I want to say that, like, to kind of illustrate that everyone's going through something, everyone's dealing with something. 2022, I would say, was probably one of the best years of my life. Um, it was a life defining year for me. Uh, I had a lot of Power Five college football recruiting job offers. I won't discuss who they were, but obviously I am at LSU right now. But it was other jobs in this conference that was offered to me, which was a blessing to me. Also, in the same time, I was working with the Los Angeles Rams in a scouting internship position, the Nunn Wooten Fellowship, which is great to me. I did it for 3-4 years. That year, January, February, the Los Angeles Rams, had a deep playoff run, and I was a part of that. I was able to go to the Super Bowl and watch them win the Super Bowl at the same time working at LSU. Um, and around that time, as I said, like, we don't understand what people are going through. I had a life altering incident, probably about February, March of 2022. This is all at the same time with when I had accepted the job at LSU. I've been on a job maybe a month or two. Um, the Rams just won the Super Bowl in the second month of the year. Um, I also was helping recruit what I call core four guys that kind of brought life to me during these tough times that I was dealing with. Was I didn't know what was next. Like, my world was shattered, um, but it's a part of life. I could have gave up. I could have walked away. I could have went into a shell. And I'm not saying that anyone that does that is weak. That's not true. You just deal with the things you deal with in your life in your own way, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to create this space, is to let people know that we're all dealing with something that others don't know about, but we're strong enough to keep fighting. Um, I don't want you to give up. I don't want you to feel like you're alone. You're not alone in this. That incident shook me. It shook my foundation of my life. But because of family, because of uh, great people, obviously everyone knows my relationship with Jaden Daniels, and right behind me you can see photos of Makai Wingo. You'll see photos of Greg Brooks Jr. and Jar Bernal Converse. Those four people impacted my life in a mighty way that kept me pushing. Like, that 2022 season was full of ups and downs, obviously, but that 2022 season allowed me to kind of find myself. And obviously from that point on, it kind of, grew and grew. And those four individuals had a major impact on where I am right now. It, Again, it gave me a reason to fight. But that incident kind of, illustrated what I'm talking about how life happens. Like, no matter what, you can't prepare for it. You can live it. You hear a lot of people say eliminate distractions. That's impossible. I believe you can limit them, but you can't eliminate them. You can't eliminate a family member passing away, your mom or your dad calling you, asking you for stuff, or telling you that your siblings need this, and or your car breaks down, or your your house notice pass. Like, you can't eliminate those things. Life will happen. Life will knock you off your feet. But if you have a foundation, if you have family, if you have someone or something to lean on, I think it allows that blow to be softened. And that's what I had. Like, I thank God um, put those people in my life at that time to support me. And like, you continued, and it gave me a reason to continue to fight, to keep pushing. Was it took my focus off whatever was going on in my life. It allowed me to press forward on other goals, and I think it helped me because I was focused on others instead of myself. And it kind of developed like this core. It allowed me to embrace this core belief that you have to fight for something. And if you fight for something, like, it makes everything else, it puts everything else in perspective. And so because of that, I enjoy it. I keep pushing forward, and this is where this conversation, this thought process came from, to do mental checks every Monday morning, every week, because you'll hear a lot of people say Mondays is the return to work. The it means the weekend is over, but I think it also allows you to regroup and assess that, yeah, I got to go back to work, but I get to go back to work. But some people don't get that opportunity. And so I want you to know that everything matters, that you matter, that you are loved, um, that the people that you come into contact with, you matter to them way more than you think. Like I said earlier, the person you see at the bus stop every day, like, you have to understand, if you stop fighting, how will it affect others that matter to you? And is that the ripple you want to create, where it affects them, and then it goes there, and then it goes south for them, and then, like, everything, that ripple you create affects way more than yourself. And so I want to keep telling you to keep pushing, to keep fighting, that yes, it's tough, but you can make it. And when you make it, you can help others make it. Each one teach one, reach as you climb. If we keep that perspective, we keep that thought process, and we keep pushing, I think we can create a better society, and we can build calluses and become stronger in the world that we live in, that everyone becomes strong, and we uplift instead of pulling down and denying, that we keep climbing, that we understand that life is so important to live, to enjoy it, to embrace it, and it gives us a reason to fight. And so that's what this podcast will be about, and that's what this podcast will grow from, and hopefully it sprouts limbs from this tree, from this plant, from the seed being planted, that you matter, that we are enough. And I love it. Like, I love you. I love you all. You are loved. You're more than enough. And I can't wait to see where this goes. I can't wait to build on this. I can't wait to continue to grow the expectation of life through this podcast. Um, I'll leave you with this. Your darkest hour paved the way for your brightest moments. Continue to fight. Thank you, and I love y'all.